Lord of Two Horns is the ninth full-length album from Drawn and Quartered, a Seattle, Washington area death metal band who started quite a few years ago. This is one of those groups that began in the 90s and eventually worked up to a full-length album. Pretty infamous Moribund Records alumni here, and a band that I discovered in the early 2000s as a fan of Infestor first and foremost, but also looking for something that was brutal but also related to incantation and immolation-esque sounds. And that's really been the appeal of the band for a long time. For me, is that they're one of few groups who have approached something influenced by like Bob Bigna's guitar playing and early incantation, and taken that to something that is their own. It's militant, it's brutal, and it has grown into something that has a rich and strange harmonic language of its own in its composition for two guitars. And so that might read as rote in some sense for longtime fans of death metal, but when you really get into the minutia of their work, there's a lot of interest there, and that's always been the interest for me. So a couple of changes here for the band. They've onboarded Brandon Corsair of Dragcar into the band, and you'd expect a lot of big changes, something to change in their sound, but really what we get here is a sharper production value and a little bit more of a brutal album from the group after a couple of more mid-paced, relatively mid-paced death records from the band. So we'll get a sense for the attack of this album in a clip, and then I'll talk just a little bit more about what makes this still an exciting band after 9 albums. Something to be said for being consistent, but also for repetition and iteration running its course. And I think Drawn and Quartered have always been good about sounding like themselves, but introducing different levels of dissonance and harmonization, as well as brutality into their sound over the years, which explores not only their interest in death metal, but also their own voice. And I think that Lord of Two Horns does well to bring back some of the brutality of their earlier work, while also pulling away from some of the more dissonant and dread-filled, kind of doomed feeling step of their last 2 records, which I liked quite a bit. I rated them both very highly as well. I really like this album, obviously because I've been a fan for so long, but there was a chance that they could have bored me with a record that is shorter, quicker, and just a little bit more straightforward. And so despite that, ultimately, I couldn't deny the impact of this band, their signature sound, and the way that they're wielding it here on this record. It's not that they feel refreshed. It's more that this is signature Drawn and Quartered with just a little bit more speed in their attack again. So it is just a modulation of something that we are familiar with already, and it's just something that I really enjoy in terms of the entire presentation. And it's a band that I would just like to see out on the road and putting on a show more often. So for me, this is something I'm very much willing to support. It's also something that I just enjoy listening to. This is the kind of band where I remember they had so many albums. I spent so much time just going through the full discography year over year and finding things that I liked and didn't like about each record. There's something to be said for a discography you can really sink into and find nuance in their consistency. And that's really what this band is about for me, other than just representing pure death metal, real death metal in 2025. So that's a very high recommendation for me. This is one of the best records of June this year, and just a fine showing from a band who have impressed me very consistently for the last, I think 20 years or so. So check that out for yourself. See if that's for you, and go ahead and read my written review for more of my thoughts.